Afternoon, everyone. We have a whole bunch of things to get through today. There's lots of news coming across the news wire. Some of this is going to be very important for what happens with your family over the next couple of weeks, so I want you to pay really close attention. The Russian Lieutenant General, the Deputy General Director of the Roscosmos in charge of the nuclear weapons program and the Satan II nuclear weapons system, he has been arrested. We're seeing lots of arrestings and we're seeing lots of people disappearing inside of Russia because of what is happening. Now, this sometimes happens as a country prepares for massive diplomatic or programmatic changes. We might see Russia use that very feared nuclear weapon soon, and everybody who has knowledge of the procedures and protocols that would lead to its use are going to start disappearing. So just keep a close eye out there. The Wall Street Journal has reported that the FBI is in receipt of information showing that China is using artificial intelligence to gather and to stockpile data on Americans at a scale that they never thought possible before. I want to remind you, it was just a couple of short months ago that we had a balloon from China collecting data over critical U.S. military infrastructural sites, collecting our cell phone data. Now they're showing that they were tracking that balloon 10 days before they let the American public know what was happening. There's a secret war, a cyber war happening, and no one's even talking about it. The Belgian chief of staff says that Europe must begin immediately and urgently prepare for a conflict with Russia in the coming months or even in the coming years. All of Europe is at war with Russia. NATO is at war with Russia. And what we're starting to see is the understanding that this is going to be a years-long, maybe even decades-long fight for the life of the United States dollar and the life of the U.S. military. We have a new phenomenon that has not been seen since the last Great Depression in the 1900s. Right now, we are seeing middle-class individuals becoming homeless. We are seeing fully employed nurses, fully employed service and skilled workers like plumbers and carpenters living in parking lots. This would not have been imaginable in just a couple of years before this happening. So imagine what the next couple of years is going to be like. We have a viewer with some property and a good heart that set up a group for the people who are less than fortunate, sometimes less than fortunate in their mental health and sometimes in their circumstances. And she gave us an update because lots of people here wanted to hear more information. Thank you and happy holidays. I've had several meetings in this endeavor. 6 people joined immediately. Another couple are willing to help out now and then, and they're thinking about being regular members to my group. An organization that supports lifelong learning is providing funds for the purchasing of seeds and other small items that the group needs. They'll also be providing the purchasing of bread, butter, and cheese, coffee, and tea for group meetings. It is such a blessing for us all. You should have seen the smiles on these people's faces when I told them about this. It was such a joy. Everybody knows poverty, physical and emotional suffering, and what it's like to be outside of mainstream society. They've been met with prejudice, discrimination, and their situations looked down on. They are not looking for handouts. They're just trying to make ends meet. If you are homeless, it's such a blessing to help others, just to grow their own food, to recover from adversity. Eventually, we will be able to solve their issues together. So guys, let me tell you, this is testament right here to why your group is important. Start building one now. You don't have much time not to. We have another write-in, and this one speaks volumes to what's happening. Hello, Brad. I hope you're well. I own an auto body shop in New York. I've been in business for 40 years. I have never experienced this level of backorder delays. Most of the parts that I use are sold by local distributors. They source their products from Taiwan. It's not just the high-end chips that they manufacture. If you look around while you're driving, trust me, you are seeing the Taiwan business model in motion. I realize that car parts are superficial in the grand scheme of things, but try telling that to an irate individual, he says a Karen, who wants their Hyundai back. What used to take 1 day to get, 1 day, now can be a month later. When the issue inevitably hits the food and medicine market, Nelly, there is a woe to us all. And that's the truth, isn't it? We are going to start seeing this sort of adverse effect in all of our marketplace, from the food supply to everything else that we use day to day. The people who come out to service your air conditioning units, your stove goes sour, your grill breaks down. No matter what happens, you're going to start to see this. Financial experts are warning the U.S. government right now that the U.S. is at the helm of causing the largest threat to the United States by getting involved in laws that have previously enabled corporations to purchase homes and to rent them in perpetuity to individuals, rent them out to renters. Now, they're saying that they have urged the U.S. government, do not get involved. This new bill bans hedge funds from buying homes, and it's very destructive. Now, why do you think that is? The only reason this economy is continuing to run for the wealthy, for the powerful, is because they have been allowed to destroy every other class. Corporate bankruptcies are increasing at double-digit rates in most economies around the world. Borrowing costs are rising. Governments are unwinding previous measures that used to support businesses. It's all being shown that it was all fake. It was smoke and mirrors. It was just hiding what shown that it was all fake. It was smoke and mirrors. It was just hiding what the reality was. It was a new coat of paint over mold. This after a decade of decline, the U.S. number of corporate bankruptcies has risen 30% in a 12-month period. This was compared with just a year ago, according to court data. Other countries around the world, including those within Europe, have seen bankruptcies rise 25 to 43% since the previous year. Across the bloc, they're seeing 13% increases. Higher rates, along with the collapse of fake economies and fake companies that survived the previous measures. Now, they're calling the check. Economists claim that viral videos going around showing how easy it is for the U.S. to hide what's really happening. We are seeing the U.S., they say, in a silent depression that is worse than the Great Depression. The United States might not have 30% unemployment like in the 1900s, but many Americans right now are struggling. They're worried about their financial situation. They're working longer hours. They're picking up extra jobs. They're doing all of these things. We have seen individuals, economists, call this out as a silent depression. They've compared it with the current times that we are experiencing to what happened back in the 1900s. American households are incurring more than $1 trillion in debt at the highest interest rate levels. Mortgages can't be paid. We're seeing foreclosures. We're seeing the repo man. You know, Kelly and I were talking about, they have a theme park in Florida, in the mid part of Florida, called Busch Gardens. Now, if you go to that, you're going to see it's mostly empty. Nobody's going there. They're sending us, because we went once 5-6 years ago, they're sending us almost daily. Here, look. Tickets are cheaper. Here, look, you can buy it once and you can come back all year for free. Why are they doing that? People don't need to be scared by a roller coaster anymore. All they have to do is walk down to the mailbox and see their bills. That's the fear that they're experiencing. They don't need those false fears, and that's why horror movies and things like theme parks are going out of style. People are on edge every day already. Now, they say that the understanding of a silent depression shows our legitimate reality. We have seen the inability of the American government to put forward a real American dream. People can't afford to start a family. They can't purchase homes. When we compare it to the Great Depression, we are seeing the very same things happen. Now, there is an age-old Harry S. Truman adage that went, "It's a recession when your neighbor loses his job. It's a depression when you lose yours." It's always been about them versus us, looking at other people and comparing them to ourselves. All we have to do is look at the current situation of the economy, the current situation of our world. Housing is tanking. We're seeing a 50% drop across the country in housing prices. I told you this was going to happen months ago, years ago. I told you that this was not going to stay up at their bubble inflated levels. And here it is. It's happening right now. Guys, if you're watching this video anywhere else, Facebook, Twitter, make sure you come over to YouTube, join the Full Spectrum Survival family. You're going to see a subscribe button either here or maybe down here somewhere. Hit that, join our family. Let us know in the comments that you're new here. If you see a comment, reply to it if it speaks to you. That's how we help other people get prepared. Well, and repaired from the false narrative that they have shoved down our throat for decades. Let me remind you that during the Great Depression, houses were 3 times the average yearly salary. Today, houses are 8 to 12 times the average yearly salary. So during the Great Depression, if you didn't have any other bills, which a lot of people didn't have a car note, they definitely didn't have life insurance, they didn't have car insurance, they didn't have Netflix, they grew their own food, they sourced it locally, they bartered and they traded and they did all these things. Almost all of their salary went to things like house repair and going towards the note. So it took them 3 to 5 years to pay it off. Right now, they have drained you. They have sucked you dry. They have taken everything away from you. And so you have a minute amount of your annual salary to go towards your bill. They put it on a 30-year note. People can't pay it back. And then look, they're wondering why people are defaulting. They're wondering why they can't pay their bills. Well, this is exactly why. U.S. mortgage applications have fallen to their lowest levels in history since the great financial collapse. Over 80% of all U.S. money that was created, that's U.S. dollars that were printed, took place in the last couple of years. Now, that's really showing you how things are and how they're going to be for the next couple of years. So I hope that you're watching just like we are, being a watcher on the wall, so to say. You know how bad it is. You're keeping your eyes open. You're remaining awake. You're remaining aware. And you're just watchfully waiting. Thank you guys for being here with us today and every day. From my family to yours, please help other people when you can, but don't let it burden yourself if the return on that burden is not going to help you in the future. Stay safe and good luck.